What are you doing, kiddos? Thanks for tuning in to TV. It's your host, Mason Lee, OMG, coming back at you with another video here. And today, I'm writing you a little story for you all. So the other day, I posted on Twitter that I would make a video of me talking about and explaining how I make videos and such. And I did a video on this earlier, but it wasn't very detailed, and I just want to make a better video, more in detail, and showing what apps I use and like how I know when to cut it and how I know what volume to use and all that. What happened was, later that day I got in an incident at school and got suspended for it. So that's what I'm going to talk about. So basically what happened was, I was hanging out with some friends at lunch, and then we saw this golf cart that was like unattended by the security guards of the school. All the security guards have some sort of vehicle to ride, which is either a bicycle or a golf cart. So one of the golf carts was unattended during lunch. We saw one of our old friends driving it around, and there was like, I think there was like 3 other kids in the cart with him. And when he turned the corner, all the other kids jumped out, and he drove to park it and got out the cart and started running away. And we think that security was chasing him. And so basically what happened is, my friend asked me if I would ever do that, and I said yeah. And so we decided to wait till after lunch because it's a lot less dangerous to happen, and still it was unattended. There was no security guards around. So after the late bell rang for the next class, that's when everyone was pretty much clear and I was pretty much good to go, like drive it around and stuff. There was still a teacher outside the class, so I was driving it, and hopefully I can get footage right now. So yeah, I was driving the golf cart around, and the teacher caught me, and he just said, excuse me, you need to stop." So I stopped, and then he says, "What are you doing?" And I said I was driving this golf cart around. And then he was like, "I'm gonna ask you to get out the vehicle." And I was like, "Oh, I was just gonna go park it back where I found it." And then he was like, "No, get out the vehicle right now." And then I was like, "Alright." And he took me and my friend who was recording me for some reason. He took both of us down to the discipline office to talk with the assistant principal about the whole incident. We saw this old kid who was driving it previously during lunch with us, and one of his friends who was also in the cart with him. And the kid who drove it first already has prior incidences with suspension, so he thinks that he's going to get transferred to schools. But the problem with my situation was, I was informed all the potential danger that I could have caused with driving this vehicle without authorized training. And so he told me he's able to give me a 5-day suspension, but since I was upfront and honest with him about everything, he's only going to give me a 2-day suspension, and the day of the incident counts. And he also said police will contact my parents about it, so I still could get fined, but I don't think I will. Well, he made it seem like I wouldn't get fined, and it was like up to the police. So honestly, I don't think anything will happen, especially because this is my first suspension ever, and I'm also only 16, and my counselor told me that police are more lenient with tickets on minors than they are with adults. And that makes perfect sense. So the worst thing that can happen from here is that we have to go to court and I get fined. But I doubt that would happen. And the best thing that could happen is just the cops don't even call and they just let it go. So maybe that could happen, I'm not sure. When I was in the office, I had to call my dad and all that. Yeah, when I got home later that day, my friend gives me a good idea to like call in to where I work at and say I have the whole day off tomorrow since I got suspended for that day. So I said, yeah, that's a good idea. And I was supposed to come in at 2 o'clock in the afternoon that day. But it turns out when I called her and told her I was available the whole day, she told me I was supposed to come in the Friday previously, the last week. So I asked, like, what does this mean for me? And she says I missed 3 days I was scheduled for. And what happened with this incident was that I called in and I talked to one of the employees there, and they told me I was scheduled Friday next week at 2 o'clock. I confirmed with him Friday next week, and he said, yeah, I just said okay. Oh, I didn't go in that Friday. I called the day before the next Friday, and they said I was scheduled for the weekend the previous week. And since I don't have a phone, I wasn't able to be contacted. When I called to find out about my schedule, I gave them my home phone number, but my home phone number doesn't take voicemail, so they weren't able to leave me a message. And my manager told me that one of her other managers tried to call the number I gave her twice, and I wasn't available. And it's not like I check caller ID to see recent callers. Well, she just told me I had to be terminated from the schedule, and she told me she was going to go talk to her supervisor and ask if there's anything she could do. She told me to call back in half an hour. I called back in half an hour, and she said there's nothing I can do or that she can do. For now, I'm terminated from the schedule, and she recommended that I send in another application with updated information. She said that she just hired like new employees, so there's no like open things. So basically, I get suspended from school, and then I come home to get fired, and then my parents are already pissed at me from getting suspended. Now they're trying to tell me I'm grounded from this weekend till the end of next weekend. The agreement we made was that I can keep my Xbox just to watch Netflix on in the living room, but I watched about 36 episodes of Friends, and I couldn't take it anymore. Like, that's all I was doing. I was just sitting on the couch watching Friends the whole time. 36 is like 3 dozen episodes. I just had to unplug it and move it back to my room just so I could play. If I get this taken away, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, I can still make YouTube videos, but it'll just have to be vlogs, and I'm not really going to be doing anything because I'm also grinding for my friends. This is probably the worst day of my life ever. This happened a few days ago on last Thursday, and I was thinking about making a video then, but I was just like, I didn't feel up to making a video. And now that I have my Xbox already set up in my room right now and I'm home alone, I just decided to make the video. Like, if they forcefully take away the Xbox, I could still make the video and upload it. But yeah, this pretty much sucks. And like, before I did the golf cart thing, I thought about the worst thing that could happen and the best thing that could happen. To me, I thought the best thing that could happen is my friend records it and I make a YouTube video about it, and a lot of people enjoy it, and it becomes a good video, and I would have a good time, and I would always look back on it and think of it as a good memory. One of the worst things I thought could happen was I would like crash into a wall and actually hurt myself. Or I guess the worst possible thing that can happen is like someone jumps out from behind the wall and I kill them, but that's like so highly unlikely that I was willing to take that risk, I guess. But yeah, I guess that's it. So that's my situation right now. I'll let you guys know what happens. I'm gonna continue to play Xbox anyways because I can't take watching Netflix anymore. Thanks for tuning in once again, and I'll see all y'all kiddos later.